Alright, it looks like we are rolling. Hey guys, how's it going? It's your buddy Jake Dominguez back, of course, with another movie review. And today, I'm going to review Tomb Raider, the brand new movie. Just came out today, I was able to see it. Here's my review. So, Tomb Raider tells the story of Lara Croft. That's right, from the video game series, of course, that I don't know if it started back in the 90s. I don't know, like, the whole history of the franchise. But I'm pretty sure early 90s somewhere. Square Enix, of course, created the Tomb Raider games. And this is a movie adaptation of those games, and particularly the Lara Croft character. And it tells the story of about how her father, when she was a young girl, left her. And he went to go on this very mysterious journey. And she doesn't know what happened to him. But when she finds a certain clue, right as she's about to pretty much just give up on him and declare him dead, she decides to go on an adventure to go see if she can find her father, find out why he went missing, if he's even still alive, and tons of action-adventure stuff happens and ensues. That is the plot of this movie. It's pretty much more or less the same as some of the other Tomb Raider games. This movie is a pretty good adaptation of what those games represent. I did play a little bit of those games when I was younger. This movie is more of a reboot and adaptation of the 2009, I think, reboot of the Tomb Raider games that happened. It's based more on that than the ones from the 90s and early 2000s kind of era. It's more based on that. Obviously, we got two Tomb Raider movies already with Angelina Jolie. I actually have never seen those, if I'm going to be honest. I was probably a little too young for them when they came out. I've seen bits and pieces of them, but I should check them out. I don't know why I haven't seen them. But I think they're considered guilty pleasures, if anything. Just fun, silly action-adventure movies, which are what the games represented. In the video games, you're Lara Croft. You're going to find some ancient treasure or something like that. And that's what this movie is as well. But they added a little bit with her and her father, which gives it a bit more something, emotional drive, an actual reason for the plot to happen, which works pretty well for this film. Here's the thing. How many good video game movies are there? None. Right? Most video game movies, or movies based on video games, are terrible. Pretty much ever since, the Super Mario Brothers movie, if you even know that exists. There was a live-action one with Bob Hoskins, and, yeah, it is horrible. I remember when I was, a little kid, maybe 7, and I was so excited when on TV there was going to be a Super Mario Brothers movie. It blew my mind. Oh my gosh, they made a movie about this? I had no idea. I love Mario. I watched the movie. I turned it off after 10 or 15 minutes because it wasn't what I thought it was going to be. It's one of the worst movies ever made. Warcraft, which is a movie came out a few years ago based on the World of Warcraft games, was really disappointing. There was the Assassin's Creed movie, which was supposed to be awful. I never even saw it. There really aren't that many good video game movies. I can't think of one. The Mortal Kombat movies, yeah, they're pretty much just nothing. There's a few good movies based around the idea of video games, like maybe Wreck-It Ralph for the last Jumanji movie, maybe. But in terms of based on a video game, yeah, there's nothing. And part of the reason for that is that video games are different from film. They're two completely different art forms. Video games are an art form, it absolutely is. And you can use video games to tell a story if you want to, but it's obviously more based on the game and the fun involving with playing a game. Some games can add a bit more onto that, add more substance onto it, and help you experience certain situation stuff. That's a whole nother topic we could talk about another time. But movies are about stories and the experience of watching that story, right? And no matter what you do, video games and movies serve those two different purposes. With film, it's a visual medium, it's an oral medium, it's about watching the story and characters. Video games are not that. And I think that's one of the reasons why movies don't typically make good adaptations of video games. Having said that, this new Tomb Raider movie is probably the best video game movie ever. Probably. I don't love this film. This new Tomb Raider movie is not a great film. It does have some problems. But to be honest, it is a good movie. I had a lot of fun with this movie. It is very entertaining. It does what it needs to do, and I think what most audiences who go in expecting a Tomb Raider movie to give them, it will give them that. And maybe even a bit more. And a lot of that has to do, again, with that story. The basic idea of this movie is that she wants to go find her father. Yeah, we've seen this kind of thing done many times before, and maybe it is kind of a bit of an action-adventure movie cliche, but it works, and that relationship of wanting to find him does add a little bit more substance and a reason for the story to be. And adds a little bit of heart. Not as much as I'd want to in a movie like this, but it is there. Tomb Raider is an entertaining movie. There's lots of great action sequences that are really well done. I'm not even going to try to pronounce the director's name because I'm going to butcher it. I'm sorry. But it's down in the description below, down there. I'm not even going to embarrass him or embarrass myself. But he does a good job with the action sequences in their movie. They're fun, they're exciting, they're pretty well filmed. You can always tell what's going on, and they're pretty exciting. This definitely is... All the action scenes in this movie have a good sense of momentum and speed, and I really like that. But the best thing about this movie is the character of Lara Croft herself, as played by Alicia Vikander. I think I'm pronouncing that right. That's one of those. She has one of those names I always butcher. She is a great actress. She obviously won an Academy Award for the film The Danish Girl, I believe. And I most know her best from the film The Light Between Oceans, directed by Derek Cianfrance. I loved that movie. That's a really underrated romance movie if you've never seen it. I highly recommend it. She's great in that movie. And I like her in everything I've seen, but she is really good in this movie. She adds a lot of spunk and heroism and likability to the character of Lara Croft. She looks great. She looks just like the video game, character. And she's not just like an object. She's not just a pretty face as portrayed in this movie. She actually is a character. If you play some of the early Tomb Raider games, they definitely, sexualize the character of Lara Croft a lot, and which, probably wouldn't be too politically correct today. And I think that's why I didn't play the games very much when I was younger, because I was too young to play them, and my parents didn't want me doing that. It was nothing too incredibly risque, but that was definitely a factor of them, which is of its time, and that's video game culture for you. But just like the newer games that were made after 2009, this doesn't necessarily treat the Lara Croft character as just an object who looks pretty. She's a character, and I like that, and I really liked her. And overall, I think fans of the Tomb Raider franchise, and fans of Lara Croft, especially the newer kind of games that were made in recent years, will really enjoy this movie. There's tons of crazy action sequences that totally break the laws of physics, and they're awesome. Yeah, there's definitely some physics breaking in this movie, but I'm fine with that. It's in the games. It never got too ridiculous for me. And come on, when you go to see an action-adventure movie like this, you want to have a bit of silliness. It's Tomb Raider. Come on. Having said that, this movie isn't perfect at all. No movie is perfect. Maybe that's a dumb thing to say, but this movie does have its flaws. And that's a lot of it is just in the story. There is a goal here, and it's a goal that is rooted in the main character's emotions. You know what I mean? She wants to get back to her father. She wants to find out what happened to her father. And that relationship brought a lot of the heart and story to the film. Because you want to see Lara Croft get back with her father. That's cool. But that's about it. This is a very simple movie when you go back and look at it. It's mostly an excuse just to get to the awesome action sequences and to see Alicia Vikander as Lara Croft being awesome. That's what this movie is for, and it knows that. This movie knows what it is, but there isn't very much substance to it. There is a little bit there, like I said, but it's a very simple story. It knows what it is. It's not trying to do too much more than that. And I felt like there was an opportunity for this movie to be even better than what it is. I liked it, but it could have been better. I wish this movie had a bit more humor to it. There's definitely humor. Nick Frost is in the film. He's hilarious, but he's in it for such a short time. In a movie like this, you want to have those one-liners and stuff like that. Even the video games had that. And I wish this movie had a bit more fun and humor with it. It takes itself pretty seriously as you can with a subject like this. It doesn't play it for camp, which I liked, I appreciated, but maybe just a little bit would have helped just a bit, just to make it a bit more fun. You can have it be a little fun, have a bit of humor with it without winking to the camera every 5 seconds, treating it as a joke. You know what I mean? And I wish this movie had a little bit more of that to it. There also are times where it feels very exposition heavy. If like a character gives us exposition, it leads us to the next scene. And then there's more exposition, which leads us to the next scene. It is kind of like a video game in that way, I guess. But that is definitely, that right there is probably the biggest issue I have with the movie, just structurally, just that, from that perspective. But overall, this movie is perfectly fine. Junkie XL gives a fantastic score. I love his music, and he did a great job with this one. The cast is fine. I mean, again, the character of Lara Croft steals the show. It gets the spirit of those video games there. But there isn't as much to say about the film itself, other than it's way above average. It's entertaining. You can watch it. And at the end, it does leave the door open to go make more films based on this, which I hope they do. I hope this film is successful enough for that to happen, because I would totally watch more movies with that character. And overall, this movie is fine. But I do feel it could have been better, but it is good. And for a movie based on a video game property, that is saying something. Because like I said, most movies based on video games, Doom or whatever, they're pretty awful, and this one is just fine. Having said that, it is a little disappointing that this movie is just fine and that I'm not roaring with appreciation for how much I loved this movie. Because I didn't love it. There were things I loved about it, but overall, it's just a good, entertaining movie. And it remains to be seen if one day we will get a great video game movie. Of course, it can be done. Anything could be done. Look at the history of the comic book movie. Most early comic book movies were pretty freaking awful, especially through the 80s and into the 90s. They were pretty dark times for comic book movies. And now look at where we are today, where every movie is a comic book movie, and they're all pretty much really good, and some even great. That can happen for video game movies. We're still in that dark area, that 80s, 90s area for video game films. But can it be done? Will that be able to happen? Can the next Tomb Raider movie be even better than this one is? Can it have the story be even better and have more fun and make it better than what it is? It's good, it's fine, but can there be a great movie based on a video game? Or is it just can't be done? Are they just two different mediums and they just don't mesh that great together? I don't know. And it's something to think about. I think it can be done. I know it can be done. And this movie is a good step towards that. But it is something to think about. Overall, guys, I'm going to give Tomb Raider a grade of a B. This is an entertaining movie. I really enjoyed it. I would totally go see it again. I would recommend it. So, guys, that's my review of Tomb Raider. What did you think of this movie if you've seen it? If you've seen it, let me know down in the comment section below what your thoughts on the movie was, and if you're excited to see a sequel. I know I am. I would love to see more of this character and this actress's take on it. I would totally go see more movies based on it. Hey guys, thank you so much for watching this video. You are the best. Be prepared for more reviews coming soon. I hopefully will have my review of A Wrinkle in Time uploaded to my channel really soon, I hope, as well as more reviews coming soon. Thank you so much. And before I leave, most importantly, never forget, I'm your friend. I'm always going to be there for you. Thank you all so much for being my friends. You guys are the greatest, and I will see you next time.